Morning, y'all. Welcome back to the shop. As I have probably said before, fairly certain the pickup does not have a thermostat in it. So I'm going to try to tackle that today. And the reason I say that is the temp gauge, boy, it doesn't really get much past halfway. If you're under a load, pulling up a hill or whatever, it'll get up to about halfway. But then if you're going downhill, it definitely, that temp gauge just drops. So obviously it's not holding temperature. Pretty sure there's no thermostat in there. So I'd like to replace that today. And then if I have time and I've got the wherewithal, I think I'm going to put the electric fan on the truck today as well. That way, got a thermostat. I'll have a constant temperature while I'm driving. Truth be told, I don't think it's getting up to operating temperature either. I do have a little bit of a misfire in there, and I'm wondering if it's actually running too cold. And so we'll see. We'll put a thermostat in there. We'll get the thing sealed up, running, and if we got time, we'll throw the electric fans on there. I hope you're ready to join me. Truck's outside. We'll get it popped open and get to work. So I think this thing did at one point overheat, and I hope that was just because after I put the new radiator in and got this filled up, there was an air bubble in there, got a little bit hot, but I think it did finally, it purged itself, which is good. So what we do need to do is crack open the radiator in this. I did drive this up this morning, but it has been sitting, so it's cool to the touch, so we should be fine here. It shouldn't keyword, explode. And if you're going to do this, you can hear it. You can get to the point where the cap will start to come loose. You'll hear just a little bit of heat escaping there, which is fine. But if you hear it gurgling and bubbling, and put the cap back on, let it cool down some more, because if that cap blows off there, it'll spew, 200-degree water all over you. Okay, so got to crack that. I'm going to need to drain probably half the radiator. This rate is probably going to be most of it because I do need to get the thermostat housing and everything off of the engine intake manifold, and so we got to get the water level below that, so it's probably going to be most of it. So I'll go get a drain pan. We will get this thing draining and then get to work. I think we'll be all right. Take some hoses off and put a couple of sensors in. Should be good. As per usual, I am crawling around in the dirt to get this thing draining. So we've got a little valve, should be a little, there's the bottom hose, yeah, a little petcock right there. Let's see if I can show you that. There is a little petcock right there. There we go. Back you up so y'all don't get splashed. All right, I think that might be enough. This is feeling pretty empty. I can see the top of the radiator fins in there. So, and we're about halfway on our little drain pan, so I'll close this up and we'll see what we can do. I gotta find it again. Yeah, nice. Get that sealed up. That's awesome. That's the way to do that there. That's probably the first radiator I've ever had that actually has a working valve in it. Isn't that nice? Oh, good. That's still clean. Excellent. All right, we'll go set this down, clean up a little bit. Got the radiator drained down enough. We got to pull the temp sensor for the instrument cluster. We'll get that out of here. We'll get a new thermostat housing. Got to get this hose off. Fuel line should be fine. We can probably keep that out of the way. Pop a couple of bolts, gasket, the whole thing. We'll go grab some tools and we will get going on this. I am going to make my best guess here and say that the bolts here are either a 1/2 or a 7/16. Wrong, 9/16. Story of my life. Close, but not quite right. As I said, this should be empty. There might be a little dribble that comes out of this, but we should be okay. Just gotta bust that loose. There we go. Slide that guy up out of the way. And then, oh man, I like using new stuff. Hopefully this won't gush. Well, evidently it's gonna gush. So we'll just let it gush. Ooh, more than I thought. That's all right. Yeah, it'll return to Mother Nature. Not that it should, but it is. All right, I'm gonna go grab a 9/16. Okay, there we go, 9/16. Oh good, that wasn't terribly tight either. Oh, I gotta get that out first. Let me grab that first. 7/8. Oh, 7/8 is too small. Okay, bigger than a 7/8. There's a... Okay, there we are. 15/16. Yeah. Yes, this sensor I'm going to reuse in the... I have a new thermostat housing that has a couple of sensor bungs so that I can get a bung for the electric fan in here as well. Get this guy out of here. There we go. There we go. Get that guy loose. Excellent. Maybe polish that up with a wire brush as well and get that electrical contact cleaned up. Let us we'll get this guy off of here and we'll have the big reveal. We will see if this thing has, and it's going to gush some more, but we will find out whether or not this has a thermostat in it. I don't think so. I can kind of maybe tell by looking at it through the sensor threads there. I don't think it does. We shall see. Okay. Ooh, those are nice and goobered. I got some silicone on that. We might need to do that for the next one. I imagine we will. Yeah, definitely some silicone on those. Not a bad idea, actually, so I will probably do the same. And let's see if this thing will just pop off on its own. Yes, it does. And ta-da! The gasket's destroyed. That's okay. We've got another one, but as you can see, no thermostat. That explains a whole bunch of stuff. All right, let me go get the new parts. That right there is why we did not have heat in this thing and why it was never running at the correct operating temperature and why the temp gauge in the instrument cluster was kind of, you could see it moving more than it should have been. So let's see, can we get that to stay over there? Yes, we can. Stay. Good. Okay. I feel like, Yeah, we got some silicone on there. You know, that gooshed a little more than I thought. There's some silicone there. I'll get this guy. There you go. I'll have to get some of that extra water out of there. In fact, what we can do is we can just soak it up. Pull that out of there. Yeah, I might get a little brush that off. There's definitely some. Oh yeah, we're gonna have to get all that. There's a little shoulder there that the thermostat needs to sit in. I have to get all that cleaned out. Yeah. I think the thermostat has a little rubber seal on it just for that part of the housing there to keep that sealed up correctly. So yeah, let me go get those parts. We'll see what we got. Well, good news is I found the thermostat housing gasket. That's definitely one piece that I need. I found the thermostat. This is 180 degree, which is, I guess, the winter? I don't remember what the specifics are. But this guy is what should have been in there, like that. And that is just a wax motor that moves that internal brass open and close so that the water can flow through, and it holds the water temperature at a consistent temp. So we are getting close. We got the gasket, we got the thermostat. I need to go find the new housing, but this is going to end up like that with a new housing on top of that. Excellent. Let me go see if I can find what I'm looking for. Well, that took me a hot minute, but I did find it. So there is our new thermostat housing. And as you can see, you've got threads for temp sensor for the instrument cluster for that wire. And then the other one, the other threaded hole here, will be for the electric fan, which I'm hoping I will have time to do today. I'm just going to do a rough fit here just to make sure everything is going to go together the way I think it will. Like so. Oh, that's good. That's getting some threads going there. And then here's my other one. Yeah. So that goes like that, and then this guy will go back on there like so. And I'll have to get some hex drives, open those up, or at least that one for sure. Let me just double check to make sure I didn't do anything. No, that looks correct. That looks like that is the correct diameter. Yeah, awesome. Let me go get a tool. I mean, that's just a skosh loose, but that'll probably work. Let's try it. This might be a metric tool that I'm using on an American port here, but nice. Very nice. Okay, so that guy's gonna go. Now, what I'm hoping is not going to happen, I hope that sensor is not going to hit the top of the thermostat. Yeah, looks like it would just go right past it, actually. Let's take a look. Dang. Already stuck on there. That's good. It's nice and tight. I've got our handy dandy max temp gasket maker on there. We'll put a little schmooge of that, and it's really only to just help seal this up a little bit. The gasket really needs to do the majority of the work. Make sure everything is clean. And there's, you know, a little bit of silicone left on the backside there. Oh, get that out of there. We don't want that. There you go. To take this to the car wash and blast off that intake manifold. Well, it's trying. Come on now. Well, I might be having to smoosh this around. With my finger. Let's see if we can get that to... Yeah, okay. And if I recall, this stuff is sort of a... Maybe it's a little dab will do ya, I think. Fairly sure it is. I don't know that we need 5 gallons of this stuff to get this to seal up correctly. Oh, there's definitely a wet spot over there. All right, I need another rag. Hold on. This is the way these projects go sometimes. You just gotta work with it until it behaves. I got a little bit of stuff there. Maybe I can make that work. Oh yeah, there we go. Hit some of that. There we go. That's looking good. I got enough on my finger here that I can use to... Okay, we'll get that down. And we'll get our gasket on there. Completely misalign it on the first try. And smoosh that down a little bit. We're going to have a little bit of gasket maker on some parts there, but should be okay. Oh, I'm getting a gasket maker everywhere. Oh, it's everywhere. Oh, God. It's in my raccoon wounds. That's a reference for some of you folks that watched Family Guy. Was it Family Guy? Yeah, I think it was Family Guy. I don't even know anymore. So I'll get this guy cleaned up. And then, ooh, perfect. Got a little smoosh out of there. And then, as you can see, we'll get a little bit of this going on here. And like I said, I don't necessarily know that you need a ton of this stuff. There's plenty of people that'll tell you you don't really need any of it as long as the gasket is good. But I don't think it hurts to have a little bit on here. And of course on this one, oh gosh, I'm getting it everywhere. Ah, no, shoot. Should have changed my gloves. There you go, there's your up, nope, thumb. Well, there we go, I'll get it. Oh, that's going that way. Okay, well I guess I have to ruin a brand new rag. That's a shame, this stuff, because once it sticks, man, it really, it's bad. I'm not sure the bolts really need any of this. They're not, so I'll just get those lined up and, well, while I'm thinking about it, let me wipe some of this off. Although, let me get this in, change my mind again. Get the other bolt in first, so at least there's some stability in that. There we go. And then we'll get this cleaned up, get some of that silicone off of there and off of there. You know, I like stuff to be clean if I can. I'm that guy. And then, where's my 9/16 right there. And I'll just Oh, okay, so you guys probably can't see it, but on the back side here, I think that gasket slid. Let me put this cover back on here. From back here, this gasket slid to what would be the left side of the truck. Let's just double check. No, actually, that should be good. Should be good. I don't even know. Let me just triple. Oh, there. Yeah, I picked it up. No, that definitely was a little off to the side. Let's see. I just want to make sure that there's enough coverage so that that gasket is sealing up everywhere correctly. Oh, it's sticking to the top. Oh, no, that's good. That's good. You guys can see that there. That should be fine. So let's get this thing bolted down while our silicone is still usable. Oh man, and this ratchet is basically broken. Okay, a little pressure there. Oop, get that out of the way. And a little pressure there. And I like to go back and forth on these just so that you don't put too much pressure on one side or the other too quickly, right? You kind of cinch it down evenly on each side. That's probably good. This is just a little 1/4 inch drive ratchet, which is probably plenty of torque for this. When I took it off, it wasn't terribly tight and it wasn't leaking, so we're probably okay there. And so yeah, you probably don't need a ton of torque on that. Let me get this cleaned up a little bit more again, and then I'll get my, yeah. Okay, that's good. I see some sticking out over there. It's probably fine. All right, thermostat's in. Temp gauge for the instrument cluster is there. What else do I need at the moment? I think that's okay for now. Oh, I need to, bonked you. Sorry about that. I need my big wrench. And I believe this is tapered. So you don't need, yeah, looks like that is tapered. So you don't need any, my understanding is you don't need any thread seal or anything on this. You just need to get it in there and get it firm. And not crazy firm, because this is aluminum. The housing is aluminum. So that's probably fine. So I can see through the inlet here, the sensor is not hitting the thermostat. Okay, that's pretty tight there. Let's do that. So we're good there. There's plenty of space for that. That's excellent. So that's tight. Let me go grab a little wire brush, clean that up. Couldn't decide if I wanted brass or steel, so I got both. Let's try the brass first. Oh yeah, that's working. Get that nice and cleaned up. Just so we've got a good electrical connection there, and then I'll get this guy cleaned up a little bit, because I'm sure you could see that that was pretty, oh yeah, that's pretty gross. Well, not a great connection there, huh? And be gentle with that. Oh yeah, that it's like holding on by a thread there. I think we'll be okay. We'll just go ahead and get this back on here. I think we'll be okay there. this little heat shield. I'll move that back up over that. Okay, so that'll be our temp gauge inside. We can leave that sealed up for now because, like I said, that's for the electric fan. Get that back on there. Oh yeah, that should be fine. There we go. Okay, I think tighten this up. I may call it a day on that one. That might be plenty of video for today. Then at least we got this project done. So I can have heat if I want to drive this thing around in the winter. Hot dog, won't that be nice? What am I missing here? Is that fine? Yeah, that should be fine. Just checking the bottom side there, make sure that that's lined up okay. Okay, that's good. She might throw just a little scooge on that one. Yeah, I think we're good. Got to get this filled back up, and I might soak up some of that extra coolant that spilled out there, but I will, yeah, like that and that. Get that cleaned up a little bit. Hopefully we don't have any vacuum leaks and we're sucking coolant in through the intake. I don't think so. But I'll get those cleaned up, get some coolant back in there, and then we'll have to belch this thing. Like I said, you want to purge the air bubbles, so we'll let her heat up. And let's see, I just want to get that guy cleaned up a spit. There we go. All right, I think that's acceptable. We'll get this set up to refill, get her started up, check for leaks, see where we're at. Almost there. This is my handy dandy radiator filler. This is the greatest tool ever. I remember my mechanic James had one of these, and I watched him use this tool on one of my other cars. I had a Toyota Camry, I think, at the time. And this is the greatest thing ever. So you get this whole assortment of different fittings and different types of radiator caps. Anyway, so you've got to choose. This one was still in here probably from the last time I did this. So this is the correct fitting and cap for this radiator. So you get that set up on there like that, and you get it set in like you normally would with your usual. Actually, we probably don't need that. No, it should be good. Okay, so then you get that sit in there sealed up. And you got to get all these extra pieces out of the way because you don't need those. Oh, that's a good place to rest those up there. Those are probably all going to slide off of there. That'll be my luck. But this is where we're going to put them. Y'all keep an eye on those for me. Okay, so then you get, whoop. Let's see, I'll bonk you. Anyway, so you get that. You get your fluid in there. You turn the thing on, let it run, make sure that it's doing its thing. But the beauty is you've got this plug. So you can plug that up and you can take this off without spilling, just a little bit of spillage inside there. But then you can see inside, and and the beauty is you can leave it on there while the engine heats up. And so as it begins to purge the giant air bubble that we've created in here from emptying the radiator earlier, this will allow that air to bubble up through here without gushing it over the side. This is like the greatest thing ever. So let me go get my coolant from earlier. As I said, this was fairly clean from draining, so we'll just put it back in. Get that in the spout, and you'll see it gurgling already. Getting that air bubble out of there. Of course, it should take all of it, or almost all of it. And I'm going to look around, check for leaks. It's splashing a little bit. I think we're good. It wasn't leaking down there earlier. That's good. We won't really know if the thermostat housing is leaking until we get some, yeah, because there's no pressure on there. Oh, took all of it. Okay, let me get this thing started. Get it running. We'll have to get it up to temperature. And we'll see what we get once it warms up. Keys, 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 keys. I'm always doing things with keys. In my pockets? Maybe? I don't think so. Maybe the keys are already in the truck. No! I know where they are. I left them in the other car. Which is locked. Ta-da! Keys. Keys, keys, keys. One of these days I'll put them in a spot where I'll remember where they are every time. Okay, here we go. Get this thing started. That noise is probably just a little bit of coolant on the belt, making a little noise there. And what we can do, since this is, let's see what we got in here. Yes. Okay, so it's at least covering, it is at least covering the top of the radiator fin. So we're gonna have to let this run for a little while, let it warm up, and we'll see if this is gonna purge. I'm gonna put this back. There's just a little wiggle in there. I'm gonna put this back in case it decides to burp. Oh, and the thing with this is you want to have a little bit of coolant sitting on top of it, so when it does burp, it burps into the coolant that's in this thing, so that the air pushes against something, so it doesn't just spew. It has the fluid there to sort of keep it from blowing out. Go grab a little more. You know. And I got the full strength green here, so I don't remember if this has water in it or not. Definitely does not. We just need enough to give that something to belch against. So our ratio might not quite be 50-50. That's all right. And we're out. Well, dang. I don't know if I have any more. Well, we will see how this goes. I do not see any more coolant floating around in the shop there. Yeah, it's starting to get a little bit of heat. Oh, that's breathing. Come on, there we go. Oh yeah, that's very full. That's very full. So once that thermostat opens up, we should see some movement in there. but just in case, we'll leave that there for a moment. Top hose is cold, and there's no pressure obviously, so it doesn't have any fluid in it. And then this guy, watch your fingers on the fan. Now I don't feel any. Oh no, that's starting to get warm. That's starting to get warm. Okay, we'll give this a few minutes to warm up. When we get there, I will come back and I will show you guys where we are at. Quick sidebar here, that's the temp gauge. Something tells me that is not working, only because it's normally not that low when the truck is running. So I'm gonna go fiddle with our wire and our sensor. Hopefully I didn't screw it up, because I do want that, but we'll take a look. Hopefully we can get this going. We are starting to get some heat in the truck here because you can see the level of the coolant coming back up in our fill bottle, or sort of fill neck here, a big fill neck, which means that's a good thing. That means the temperature is expanding, and if I squeeze our top hose, you can see bubbles in there, so I can kind of help smush the air through and get that coolant sucked down into the system. Which is a good thing, that's what we want. Let me double check this guy, see if we got heat here. Yes, that is definitely getting warm. And I don't think I'm seeing any leaks in the thermostat housing. Let me get a rag to make sure. Just a little bit of coolant back here. Oh yeah, that's definitely warm right there though. That's good, that's what we want. Right, we do actually want some heat in it, believe it or not. Because I would like to drive this thing as it gets cooler. And it'd be nice to have heat in it. Okay. Yeah, so far, from what I can see, oh yeah, see that bubbling up there? That's a lot. Oh, I can feel it. Yeah, there it goes. See the thermostat just opened? Thermostat just opened because it sucked all that hot coolant in on the top. That's awesome. Let me check my gauge. Oh, my gauge is coming up too. Okay, good, good, good. That means that thermostat, I was a little worried. That, ooh, that's hot right there. Whoo, buddy. Watch out, that's hot. I was a little worried that the thermostat wire was not going to conduct through that new housing, but it looks like it's working. Oh, I see. I do have one little tiny drip. I have one little tiny drip coming through the other sensor bung. That's why there's a tiny little, okay. So let me get my, where to put my tool? There's my tool. Let's see if I can, that is the wrong size. Let me go get a size down. Yeah, that was great. That sucked all that. Okay, that's the one. So, see if I can give that just a, oh yeah, that was actually just a skosh loose. Tighten that down just a bit. And then, give her a little wipe. Give that a chance to dry out for a second. I hope I don't need to put any sealant on that. I can. I don't really want to, but we'll see. It should be. Now I see another little bubble there. And as I have been said, I have been called on other YouTube channels, I'm the cleanup guy, so I'm constantly like, oh, that's dirty, let's clean that. Oh, that's dirty, let's clean that. Now, shoot, I got a little, still got a little dribble coming through there. But I don't see any leaks anywhere else, which is a good thing. Let's try that. This may need an actual, I may need to put some sealant on that. So that's warm, that's good. This is gurgling and bubbling, that's good. Yep, that's what we want right there. I just heard it. Yeah, shoot. I may have to put the other sensor in for the electric fan to seal that up for now. Although, yeah, some of that other silicone off of there. Well, that extra turn might have sealed that up. Okay, well, I think we might be all right there. I think we might be okay. We'll give that a second. Let me go check our temp gauge again. Ah, yes. Temp gauge is a little below halfway. And that was bubbling. Okay, I still got a bunch of cigar left that I can smoke. That is definitely warm there. That's good. It's definitely warm there. Check, see if my little tighten up did. I think we're good on this guy now. The gauge is in a more, well, at least it was working before, but it wasn't, the engine obviously wasn't holding a temperature. It would just swing, right? You'd go up a hill, it would get hot. You'd go down a hill and it would get basically cold, which actually is a bad thing. You don't necessarily want it running too cold all the time. You do want some heat in the engine to keep it at the right temperature so that the spark and everything is hot enough to keep the carbon down, etc. Boy, it's so close. I think I maybe just saw a whiff of coolant coming out of there. Yeah. Boy, it's hard to tell. Could just be a little spot of discoloration on the housing. Okay, but that's up to temperature. Yeah, so the temp gauge here is just under halfway. That is looking okay. That level has sort of come and gone, which is good. What we don't want, plenty of airflow through there. Yeah, air coming through, that's good. Obviously what we don't want is the temp gauge to skyrocket, which it's not. It's holding right under halfway, so I think we're in good shape, to be honest with you. I don't see any dribbles down the front there. I don't see any dribbles around the housing. Oh, and my sister's calling me. Hey, look! A consistent temperature. That's amazing. I'm gonna have heat this winter. It's gonna be fabulous. This has been running for quite a while, actually, probably half an hour. I don't know, I don't remember when I started it up, but it's been running for a while. So it's nice and warm, but it's holding the temperature. It's about where I remember it from like 30 years ago, so should be fine. I'm gonna get this wrapped up, and we'll see you in just a minute. As I said, I think we're in good shape here. It's been running for quite a while, maybe half hour, a little bit more, something like that. I just need to button it up. I did clean up a few things. I think I've got this sorted out. Now, just a skosh wet. I think we'll be okay. I think it'll settle in just fine. Ooh, it's definitely hot. That radiator's warm. As I said, this thing is great because what I can do, you take your little plug and you put your little plug in there, and then you give this a little twist, and there's going to be a little bit of drip come out of here just because of the nature of, but that's it. That's basically all the drip you're going to get, right? And then of course, I got to get this off of here because this is going to be hot too, but get that thing out of there. Toss that in there, and then let's get our radiator cap back on, like so. As I said, I'm the cleanup guy. I like everything clean if I can get it. But yeah, I think that's it. I'm gonna get packed up, and I'll be back in just a minute. Hey, I'm going to call it a day for that one. I think that was a successful couple of hours. I appreciate you guys watching. If you would, you know, do the thing, hit the like, hit the subscribe. I've got a bunch more stuff I want to do, but life's been a little crazy. So appreciate you watching. We'll see you on the next one. Thanks.